The goal is to grow your bank account, not your ego. I know that sounds counterintuitive, especially in a world where social media makes it feel like everyone around you is living their best, most expensive life at all times. But in this video, I want to make the case for something that changed my financial life completely: keeping a low profile, looking on the surface like you have less than you do. And I'm going to give you 7 specific reasons why doing this is not just smart financially. It is one of the most liberating decisions you can make. Let's get into it. The first reason is that it frees you from the cycle of permanent dissatisfaction. Think about your own life for a second. Every time you hit a milestone, a promotion, a nicer car, a better apartment, a new set of standards suddenly surrounds you. It is like playing a never-ending game where the rules keep changing. You buy a car, and for a moment, it feels amazing. But then you notice someone else's car is nicer. And that initial joy fades almost instantly. This is not just a feeling. It is backed by science. Researchers call it the hedonic treadmill. Imagine you are on a treadmill at the gym. No matter how fast you run, you stay in the same position relative to the room. That is exactly what happens with happiness. No matter how much more money you make or how many new things you buy, your overall sense of satisfaction tends to return to the same baseline. Studies have consistently found that once your income covers your basic needs — food, housing, healthcare, security — additional money and additional possessions do not make you meaningfully happier for long. You adapt to the new level, the new thing becomes the baseline. And then the craving for the next thing begins again. Think about the last time you upgraded your phone. At first, thrilling, new features, faster, exciting. How long did that last? A few weeks, maybe? And then, before long, you are already thinking about the next one. It happens with cars, with clothes, with apartments, with almost everything we spend money on, and social media amplifies all of it. Research has shown that nearly 40% of people feel pressured by what they see online to spend more money in order to appear successful or happy. By choosing to look poor, or at least to not perform wealth publicly, you are simply stepping off that treadmill. You are saying, I am not buying into this. And the inner peace that comes from making that decision, from genuinely not feeling the need to compete, will bring you more satisfaction than staying on that treadmill ever will. The second reason is that looking wealthy costs you your freedom of choice. When I first started working in investment banking, I fell completely into this trap. I wore designer clothes, had the latest everything, drove a nice car. I was spending a huge portion of my income on things that made me look successful, even though my actual bank balance told a very different story. On the outside, I appeared to have it all. On the inside, I was stuck in a job I did not enjoy, on that treadmill we just talked about, constantly chasing the next thing to fill a gap that kept moving. I was following the earned money, spend it, expect happiness and freedom to follow formula. It does not work. It has never worked. But it is what most people around you are doing, which is why it feels so normal. About 2 years before I eventually left banking, I made a major shift. My spending on luxuries dropped to almost nothing for around 6 to 9 months. Everything went towards education, skills, investing, things that were building something real rather than signaling something fake. That shift led to a complete change in how I lived and what I valued. It gave me the financial foundation to eventually walk away from a 6-figure bonus and leave a high-paying job because it no longer served me. It gave me the freedom to work on something I actually cared about, to travel when I wanted, to make decisions based on what I actually wanted my life to look like rather than what it was supposed to look like from the outside. Having lived both sides of this, I can tell you, without any hesitation, that feeling of genuine freedom and the ability to walk away from something that no longer serves you completely and utterly beats the short-lived satisfaction of a new purchase. There is no comparison. The third reason is that looking poor builds actual wealth, and this one is pure maths. Every dollar you spend on something designed to signal status to other people is a dollar that is not compounding in an investment account. Let me give you a real example of what this costs. A $600 handbag bought at 25 instead of invested for 30 years at an 8% average annual return would be worth nearly $6,000 by the time you are 55. Not one handbag, one decision. Multiply that across dozens of status-driven purchases over years, and you start to see the real cost of looking wealthy. The people who build genuine wealth, and I watch this up close in banking, almost never look the part from the outside. The ones driving the flashiest cars and wearing the most visible logos were rarely the ones with the strongest balance sheets. Real wealth is quiet. It sits in investment accounts and property portfolios and business equity. It does not announce itself. And the fastest path to building it is to stop spending money on announcing yourself. The fourth reason is the consumption versus production equation. Money flows into your life because you have produced value through your work, your skills, your time, your ideas. Money flows out when you consume. And the financial position of any individual, at its most basic level, comes down to the relationship between those two things. For too many people, that relationship is negative. More is leaving than coming in. The average American carries nearly $100,000 in total personal debt. That is the consumption side of the equation winning. The goal is not just to earn more. It is to recognize what is flowing out, reduce the consumption that is not adding real value to your life, and redirect as much as possible towards the production side. Investments that generate income, skills that increase your earning power, assets that appreciate over time. Every time you choose not to spend on something designed to impress someone else, you are shifting that equation in your favor. The fifth reason is that you own your narrative. When you perform wealth, when your lifestyle is built around looking successful, you hand other people enormous power over your decisions. You are no longer choosing based on what you actually want. You are choosing based on what will look good, what will be approved of, what will signal the right things to the right people. That is an exhausting way to live, and it is a financially ruinous one. When you stop performing, something genuinely freeing happens. You start making decisions based on your actual values and your actual goals. What do I want my life to look like in 10 years? What would make me feel financially secure? What would give me real options? Those questions lead to very different choices than what will people think of this? And the answers to those questions are what build real wealth. The sixth reason is ignoring financial literacy, which is what the performance of wealth almost always leads to. When your focus is on looking the part, you tend not to engage seriously with the mechanics of money, how tax works, what your actual net worth is, how to make your money work harder, where your income is going, and why. Financial literacy has an enormous impact on quality of life, and most people dramatically underinvest in it. In your early 20s, the consequences of not engaging with it are limited. You do not have much money yet, so the cost of not understanding it is small. But carry that same approach into your 30s and 40s, and the cost compounds just like interest does, except in the wrong direction. The basics are not complicated. Understanding your tax situation, knowing what your income and expenses actually are, knowing where to put your money and in what order. None of this is taught in school, but it is available to anyone who decides to engage with it. And the moment you do, you stop working for money and start making money work for you. The seventh reason is perhaps the most important one. Doing what everyone else is doing keeps you exactly where everyone else is. And the reality is that most people, regardless of income level, are living paycheck to paycheck because they are spending to look rich rather than to become rich. I have seen this firsthand. People earning well into the six figures, genuinely impressive salaries, who have almost nothing to show for it financially because every dollar that came in went straight back out on things designed to impress. If you are spending on clothes, travel, experiences, because they genuinely bring you joy and align with your values, that is completely valid. I am all for spending intentionally on the things that matter to you. But spending to keep up, to fit in, to perform a version of success for an audience that is largely not paying attention anyway, that is what keeps most people in the rat race indefinitely. The rat race is not about having a 9-to-5 job. It is about living so close to the edge, chasing the next paycheck or the next purchase, that your actual goals and your actual vision for your life stay permanently in the background. Getting clear on what you actually want, what your money is for, what financial freedom looks like for you specifically. is what gets you out. It is not about earning more. It is about deciding that the bank account matters more than the impression. And once you make that decision and actually live it, the financial progress that follows is faster than almost anything else you could do. If this video resonated, subscribe. I post every week on money, mindset, and building a financial life that is genuinely yours. I will see you in the next one.